This is the Selling to the Government Strategy 2021, and we're talking about disrupting the status quo. The status quo is your competition is winning. We want to disrupt that, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that right? Sean May's in the house. Hey, Sean. He's still trying to figure out how to get his audio working, I can tell. But anyway, welcome. I'm Dave Lowe. I'm the CEO of ISI Federal. We help with developing your federal business. Peter Timbus coming on board. Data marketing, business development support is what we're all about. If you look at ISI Federal, we've been in the world since 2009. On the right-hand side, you can see Market Essentials is what we have for market intelligence, 64 plus million federal contracts, 1.2 million federal contacts. Don't know anybody that's got those. We're flying under the radar a little bit with that. And then we take that and we pull that all together and say, okay, what matters to you with your competitive landscape? We provide proactive federal marketing campaigns and engaging the buyers. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, engaging buyers. We also do virtual industry days, which is VFedCon. The first one that was ever in existence was back in May of last year. We said, man, we want to capitalize on the fact that we can do virtual stuff like this. We've done this for years. We were virtual before it was cool with COVID. And we were like, man, this COVID thing is going to be solved by June. So we want to make sure we pounce. And we did. And well, we pounced and COVID didn't stop. So there you have it. So, but nothing we can do about that. Proprietary monitoring tools like Quick Fuse and beta.SAM. Rafael Marrero, I'm hoping pops in today. He's with Rafael Marrero and Company. Happens to be that way. They help with small business financing, PPP2 loans is what they're working on right now. So if he doesn't show up, it's because he's underwater with that. He also helps with socioeconomic certifications. And I know Colette is here. You were in the 8A program, correct, Colette?
Yes, I was.
Yes, you were. A pretty good program to be in, right?
It was when I learned how to use it.
Well, don't set me up too much in the beginning. We're going to be talking about that. And dealing with service disabled as well as Hub Zone, all those socioeconomic certifications that are beneficial to you and the federal government to help you get there. So if you need any of those things, RafaelMarrero.com is where you'll find it. And we're going to be talking about a brand new protest, ladies and gentlemen. It's March 24th, 2021. Put it on your calendar. And I'm not talking about storming the Capitol. I'm talking about bid and award protests with my boy Sean May and his boy Jason Moy. How you doing, Sean?
We're doing great, Dave. How about yourself?
You're doing all right. So Sean May is with Fed Practice Group. What does Fed Practice Group do?
We're a law firm. We specialize in government contracting. And so in that realm, anything to do with bid protests, teaming agreements, contract reviews, security clearance, any of those things, we can definitely help you out. We can tell you what you need and need not to do. We will also tell you if you have a case or you don't have a case.
There you go. Isn't that what you want to know from your lawyer?
Hopefully.
Hopefully it's not what's my bail.
But that's what we do.
So with that, so we're going to watch, you can also watch Gov Brief, because we will be doing one. We talked about this yesterday. I talked about this with Sean yesterday about doing your clearances, how you can get one and how you can lose it. That's kind of even more important. Greg Clark's in the house, not one moment too soon.
So yeah, the bat signal went up, and I had the attendee link still in my calendar. So
there you go.
So I apologize.
So there you go. But your timing was absolutely flawless because you were the next slide. There he is, Greg Clark. You and I just did an unsolicited proposal session on Gov Brief. And that was fantastic. Thank you again for joining me for that.
It was a good time. So
with what you do, tell everybody what you do, because I think it has something to do with proposal writing, and I don't know whether that's good for the government or not. You have to bring it up to speed, man.
So we help companies identify opportunities and evaluate them to see if it's a good fit for your experience and capabilities. And if it is, we help you put your proposals together. Been doing that since 1995. August, we hit our 25th anniversary. And to date, we're at about 377 contracts we've helped our clients win, somewhere around there, with a combined value getting close to $2 billion.
2 billion. 2 billion. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much. Jamie Zell is the El Presidente of GSA Logic. Welcome to Jamie Zell. Jamie, you and I have been doing this for a long time. You help folks with getting GSA contracts, and we will talk about what a GSA contract is and why you need one later. But tell us about you and a high-level overview of GSA Logic.
Well, just briefly, GSA Logic, we're an affordable GSA solution. There's a lot of crazy pricing out there with regards to getting GSA schedules. We put some intelligence to the whole thing where it makes sense to get a GSA schedule and use that as a tool to go in federal business. We've been at this a lot of years, and I tell you what, we always guarantee the award of our GSA schedule and have never missed in doing this now for coming right up on 20 years in the business.
20 years. You don't look a day over 18 there, young man. Awesome. Fantastic. And also with us, we want to talk about what's coming up on GovBrief with BAA initiatives. Sally is not here today, but she is an Uber, and I'm talking about an Uber connector. If you want to know how to schmooze and get in and connect with people and schmooze legitimately and with, you got to meet her, right? I was hoping she would be here. She said that let me read what she said to me, because she always tells me when she's coming or not. She says, I am at the US NRC RIC, the RIC conference, and he will be unable to attend this morning. So I'm not going to call her a loser for not being with us, because she's helping a client, I'm sure. But she is awesome. And she's also like a super crazy LinkedIn person. So if you send an invitation to Sally White and say, hey, Dave from the crazy people at ISI Federal said to connect, she will connect with you and you will see some of the connections. And let me tell you something, she's got some good ones. So a lot of work with DOE and the Navy, so you can check her out there. Shirley is not making it to us either. She blew us off for a client. Now, I just don't understand how that could possibly be the case. But she's also a great resource and helping to, on a high level, to strategize and getting into the federal space. And she's an exit strategy expert, which is a beautiful thing when you're starting to build up your company, how you build your company value, and then be able to get out and go retire or go do something different. She is an expert there, and you can reach out to Shirley Collier. It's scollier@scale2market.com. And you also want to watch for the upcoming financing pre and post award bidding for financing, right? So did you know that you can actually enhance your ability to win by having good information on the front end? Peter Timbus in the house. He helps folks with contract funding. What in the world is that, Peter Timbus?
Well, we will finance anybody from their initial contract. We have clients that are brand new to the federal space. I think our biggest client does $80 million in revenue. So we will finance the invoices that you have on that contract, as well as we will provide payroll financing on a contract. So our customers do not have to shy away from any contract of any size, as long as they have the capability to perform on that contract. In addition to that, we will give you a financial support letter in the bidding process should you need that letter to win the award. I've been doing this for 30 years. Last year, we financed over $2 billion.
Come on, Peter, it's billion.
Huh?
Billion.
Billion. We financed over $2 billion in receivables last year, and we're real. And the nice thing about us is that we will lend to your opportunity. So you don't have to have all these big financial statements to get approved with us. We're real. We get things done. There's no fees to get up and running with us. And if you really want to build your company, you use David to help you win contracts and all his support team to handle everything. But we will give you that financial firepower to succeed. We've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, man. And you can butter me up as much as you want, Peter Timbus.
Okay.
I love it, love it, love it. A little bit about this session. It's always free. Over 600 registered. And that is going up. I should have corrected that. It's like 800. We got like 250 more people or something crazy. Every second Tuesday at 11 a.m., we will dialogue with federal experts. These are the folks that are here that you see. And we'll get real about how things work. We don't blow sunshine here. And there's plenty of people that blow sunshine, aren't there, Jamie Zell?
You bet. There's a ton of that going on. Sunshine factories everywhere.
And
you win it.
That's right. There's no silver bullets. And I'm going to introduce somebody. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for this exact purpose because I want to introduce you to Colette. Colette, how do you say your name, Colette?
Colette, you're saying it.
I know that. The rest of your name.
Posey Youngblood.
Posey Youngblood. Very good. Colette Posey Youngblood. I talked with you last week, right? We just met last week.
Yes.
And we had we didn't plan anything that we're talking about today. I said, hey, can you just come and help people understand what it's like to get into the federal government? Because guess what? We want people to know exactly what happens when you get into the federal government. Tell us about your company, Colette, and what you guys do and how you're going to be able to team with somebody here. I am certain of it.
I hope so. The name of my company is Versatile Business Solutions, and we have been in business almost 20 years. We graduated from the 8A program in 2014. We started out doing IT services with the local and state governments. We moved on to federal government and got into the low voltage IT infrastructure.
Nice.
So we've been doing, for the last 10 years, we've been putting security cameras into military bases, military installations. We've done access control, intrusion detection, audiovisual installations. We've set up conference rooms at Andrews Air Force Base where they were in secured areas. We've also done their daycare centers there. We've worked with various military bases along the East Coast. We are just trying to keep things moving, and we pivot when we have to. We also took on a language services contracts, where we were providing interpreters for patients at Fort Belvoir Hospital. We did that for 7 years. And again, you just do what needs to be done, and I will learn how to do whatever it is I have to do. Starting out, when I was fortunate enough to start with a great contract only because I had done the work years before. I had made the connections. I went to the networking opportunities. I worked on political campaigns so that when the time came that I knew something was coming out, I knew how to make the contact with who I need to be connected to. Because basically, if people don't know you, they don't do business with you. People do
what?
business with
What?
you they know.
What? Nuh-uh. It's all fair when they put it out for RFP. Colette, you need to talk to the Oz the Boo.
Okay, I did all of that. They tell you to do all of that. They tell you, oh, you need an 8A contract, you need a GSA schedule. What they don't tell you is, okay, I got it, now what? If you don't know anybody, it's useless. There are a lot of people with 8A contracts.
Oh, you're kidding me. I thought you were the only one, Colette.
The 8A contract, it's 9 years. It took me 5 years to figure out what I was doing, and 6 years before I got my 8A contract. I didn't know. I needed to know some people. I needed to figure out where I needed to be. I needed to know ahead of time what was happening so that I could be positioned to do what needed to be done.
Now, Colette, we did not set this up, but you could not have set me up better for what we're about to talk about today. So first of all, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. And the reason being, so first of all, if anybody needs, I want you to put your information in the chat for everybody.
Okay.
Right? Put your information in the chat and let them know who you are and give them your email address, because Colette, where are you located, by the way?
We're in Bowie, Maryland.
In Bowie, Maryland. So I'm going to be driving almost right past you going down to Silver Spring as soon as this is done. But if you guys want to team with anybody that has competencies in low voltage wiring and also staffing, right?
Yeah, we can staff as well.
We can staff too. So reach out to Colette and I know she's going to tell you the truth about how things work in this federal marketplace, because she just laid it out for you. And it's very important for folks, especially people that are new. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But great, thank you for joining us again. And we will be doing all kind of cool things once. Let me get my, see if I, that's behind the scenes. Pay no attention. All right, so that is how we get real about the market, right? Was that real enough for everybody? That hey, 8A. Now, getting a GSA's contract is like I would say that's like a physical, wouldn't you, like Jamie Zell? That's like getting your physical, right?
Absolutely.
An 8A is a full proctology exam. Right, Colette? Am I right?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about winning strategies and show off a little bit for ISI Federal and the folks that you see here today. And if you don't like us showing off, just remember how much you paid to be here. That's all I got to say. And so real quick, this event is not affiliated or endorsed by anybody in the government and is provided to you for informational purposes only. And if we do have anybody from the government here, we appreciate it. We love to have you chime in as well. And we're thankful that you're here. But the beautiful thing is, because of this disclaimer, this enables you to communicate with us because you're not obligated to buy from anybody that's here. Fantastic. Now we can move on to the next thing. Participating is easy. A lot of folks have already figured out the chat as well as raising your hand. And we will have the Q&A. So make sure that if you have any questions, we'll do our best to get there. We have almost 200 people here today, so we will probably not get to everybody, but we'll do our best to be able to follow up. If you like the way that Jamie Zell is dressed today with that fancy jacket, then you can make him bigger or you can make him disappear altogether by using that little, I don't know what you call that thing, but it's a little thing that you can drag to make things bigger and control it. And I am going to be doing some handouts throughout this. And the first one is going to be hold on, I can do this. I know I can. Is going to be, this goes to everybody now, all panelists and attendees. This is the 90-second challenge, which is what we're going to be talking about. And I'm also going to drop in the Winnable Opportunity Matrix in a few minutes. So we'll have that for you as well. And ISI Federal capabilities and going to gold, you can get that from ISI Federal anyway, so you don't need that. But the biggest thing I want to know is why in the world did you guys decide to come here today? Are you new to federal contracting? If you are, you're getting the real story, right, Colette?
Yes.
Yep. How about I have federal contracts as a subcontractor and want to be a prime? How about I have federal prime contracts and want to grow? If you don't click that one. Anyway, or some nut sent me an email and I know who that nut happens to be. Who could that nut be, Greg Clark?
Greg was muted. Sorry, that's a nut. That's a nut right there. It's got a little fuzzy face these days.
There you go. The fuzzy busting on my beard. Love it. Awesome. So we'll leave that open for just a minute, and then we'll get into this next thing.
While we're waiting on that to finish, Premi asked if you could touch on the 8A 1-year extension.
Oh, fantastic.
Are you up to speed on that?
Yep, sure. You want to do it?
Go ahead.
Oh, anybody that has an 8A has a 1-year extension because of COVID. There's your answer.
I have a client that's in a kind of a tricky situation with that because his was supposed to expire last year, March 22nd. And then he found out in February that he got a 1-year extension that was almost about to expire anyway. That 1-year extension he didn't know about for 10 months of the 1 year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So.
Well, there you go. So hopefully you know if you have an 8A. All right. Yeah, that's a great question. Hopefully that answers that. So I'm ending that polling. So a lot of new folks coming in to the federal government. Love the fact, I will share that out for everybody. It is 59 out of the 100 people that responded. Everybody else is sleeping. Obviously, we're putting them into a coma. We have to stop that right now. And the reason, hang on. What did I just do? Oh, there we go. So here we have $1.4 trillion in the 2021 budget. So what that means is there's a bunch of money and it all has to be spent by when, ladies and gentlemen?
The end of September every single year.
How come? Why is that?
That's their fiscal year end.
That's
11:59 Hawaii time, right? On the last day of September, they got to burn it all down to at that point and be done with it and have spent everything because that's when the following day starts the new year.
The new year starts. And guess what, folks? We are almost in Q3. It won't be long. We're almost in Q3. 91% of wins start with proactive marketing. Is that shocking, Colette?
It is not.
It is not shocking. What's the number one thing that the government asks you to do or tells you to do? They tell you to go to beta.SAM.gov because they put everything on beta.SAM.gov, right? That's what they're telling you to do. All right. Now, and they say it's easy because we want competition with everybody. And that is a lie because let's get real a little bit. I want you to take the 90-second challenge. I dropped that into there. I'm going to tell you what it says, and then you can go see for yourself. The places where you can find out about the government is beta.sam.gov. That's where you see the opportunities posted. FPDS is where you see the awards posted. It's kind of difficult to tie those things together. We do our best to be able to do that behind the scenes, but I'm going to take you through it, and we'll just look at apples to apples as best we can. It's not really apples to apples because of the time from the time you do a solicitation to an award. However, if we look at can we all agree that if we look at fiscal year 2020 as how many solicitations got put out and how many awards got put out, that's about as close to apples as we're going to get, right? So if we do that, you're going to find about 127,000 or so contracts or opportunities that were posted. Not bad, right? On FB, it used to be FBO, beta SAM. However, when you do this and you do this little challenge, guess what you come up with? There's 6.2 million awards. Can everybody say, I'm from Baltimore, so I say something. Something's not right, hon. Something is not, you know what I'm saying, Colette. You know what Baltimore people, how Baltimore people talk. Something's not right. How in the world do you have a difference of 6.1 million federal awards? How do you do that? And if you're not asking that question, then you're probably not going to come to the next solution. And if you look at this and say, okay, beta.sam has a whole lot of competition. And when I mean a lot, the average number of respondents is in the dozens, right? For beta SAM. What if I told you the other 98%, most of those have only 5 respondents? What if I told you that? And what is in the way of the other 98%? You need to be one of the 5. Very simple. Colette, you said it. You got to know you got to get yourself introduced. You got to get yourself out in front of people. You got to let them know that they can do business with you and that you want the business. And it isn't always about, is it always about price?
No.
No. Do you only buy on price? I'm thinking you drive a Yugo because you only drive on price. I'm sorry, I forgot. I wasn't supposed to let that cat out of the bag that you drove a Yugo. So you need to be one of the 5, and that's a fact. And the other thing I'm going to drop in there in just a minute, as soon as I can get this and go into my other screen. I'm working with one screen, folks. So I am disabled on my computer today. But minimizing the competition is what we're talking about. We want to be one of the 5. I think everybody here would agree that it's better to be one of 5 than to be one of any number greater than 5, just by the numbers, right? So why? Because we have to build relationships with the stakeholders, and those are the people on the right-hand side, and I'll get this to you. This is the winnable opportunity matrix. I'll get this to you in just a minute. But these are the contracting officers that we're talking about right now, the program managers, the technical representatives, and the administrators or the SESs, right? Depending on what you sell, you may need to go higher in the food chain and sell to the SES. Never hurts to have political cover if you're above, right? If you're coming in at the secretary level, deputy secretary level, or the senior folks that are responsible in the bureaucratic process, never is a bad idea to have that kind of coverage because they can give you some advice on how to navigate. But other than that, most of us are probably going to be spending our time on the contracting officer and the program manager. But irrespective, these are the people that are the stakeholders in this environment. We're going to be talking about one of those stakeholders today. And believe it or not, people still buy from people they like. They know, like, and trust. I know I made this up just for this slide. It's the first time you ever heard this, right? So how can you be one of the 5? You want to get in the green, and I'm gonna pull up real quick what the different roles are. Every one of these have different roles. We're only going to be concentrating on one today. because we don't want to overload you. We want to talk about the buyers. That's one side of the house. Procurement is one side of the house, and program is the other side of the house. An opportunity comes, doesn't come from procurement. They're the ones that release that and are responsible for establishing the contract. The people that need the work done, the people that are running that wire, Colette, right, are your program people. The people that contracted you are the contracting officers and contracting specialists. Make sense? So the objective is get into the green. If you do that, first of all, you want to know what their roles are. We'll talk about the role of the contracting officer today, what their needs are, what their buying motives are, and what their buying patterns are. And if you're not paying attention to what their buying motives are, how are you supposed to sell them and meet their buying motives? That's my question to you. If you're not paying attention to what their motives are. So what do you think contracting officers need? Go ahead and chat it in there. Open up that chat. And while you're doing that, I am going to grab that Winnable opportunity matrix and drop that in. And I'll review that in just a minute. And yes, I am stalling for time.
So let me jump in here, Dave. So Brendan is asking, will you be sending this presentation to attendees?
Yes, we'll send out a recap.
Okay.
Yep, we'll send out a recap of the presentation as well as all the documentation that I'm giving you. And again, my apologies for.
Peter wants to know what's the best way to market to the VA prosthetics department.
Ooh,
that's a Dave question.
Ooh, give me a setup like that. Hold on one second, Peter. I will get to you on that. Copy Dropbox link. And let me know if you guys can get these because I'm pulling these like off where we are. Let's see. What's proven track record. Here's the Winnable opportunity matrix. So I'm going to, and so we got folks, personality / connection, proven track record. This is coming from Tim. Referral from someone up the food chain. Love it. Love it. That's a good motivator. That's FPD. Thank you for that. fbs.gov. That is the place to go where you send this presentation.
So over in the questions, Peter's asking what's the best way to market to the VA prosthetics department, and then I have another one after you get that. Or do you want to just hear both questions?
I want people to tell me what they think contracting officers need. Sense of confidence, you can fulfill the need and meet the requirements. Okay, Rodney. Anybody else want to throw in there? Come on now. Ask me the next question, and then we'll give them another couple minutes to fill that.
Tommy wants to know, how do you know, or where can you go to find out what agency has leftover money to spend?
You don't have to look. They all do. They're all going to be.
They don't all spend it by April and then go on vacation for 6 months.
No, they got money. They always have money, and they always have ways to be able to buy the things that they want because they have contract headroom even on existing contracts.
That's it.
So there you go. Shortest path of resistance. Love it, Dan. Glad handy. I don't know about that. You might get yourself arrested, Tim. All right. So they're all good, but I love the shortest path of resistance because you hit one that is absolutely true. And we'll get back on this. I'm going to resume the share and you get to see behind the scenes for a second. Let's talk about understanding who these contracting officers are. They're busy, or at least they think they are. Am I right, Colette?
That is true.
That is true. Well, they teach you how to do business with the government. Nay. They're not going to teach you. And they're risk averse. And I say risk averse. Their job is to protect the government from getting screwed, potentially, right? From folks that are doing things that they shouldn't. They don't like new things, which means if you are new, 51% of the people here are new, right? But that means they don't like you, flat out. They're experts in moving paper. This is not to diminish what they do or their importance. They spend millions of dollars, some of them tens of millions of dollars a year on what you do. We just did an intelligence. I don't even remember which one it was that we did, but the top 50 people in that market spent $1 billion the top 50 in that one market alone. So there are people that are buying what you sell. That's the first thing. They're experts at moving paper. They select the purchasing mechanisms. That means they're going to select whether it goes sole source or if it goes competed between two woman-owned or hub-zone or veteran-owned companies. Or they may just circulate it between 3 or 4 small businesses because they can. The FAR allows them to do that. They select the purchasing mechanism. They develop the contracting documents. Sometimes they're administering it after the fact. Sometimes they're just the ones that are just awarding it. And they do want the fastest way to purchase, and easy is good. And I love that answer for the path of least resistance because that applies right here. And one of the ways they can make it easy for them to buy from you is being set up straight. And I know Raphael decided to blow us off today, but I'll still speak for him for just a minute, because when you're marketing and when we're marketing for our companies, we want a clear, concise capability statement, a one-pager or 1 page, 2 sides, one page. That means when you hand it to them, it's 1 page. It isn't a book. It isn't a laundry list of everything that you can do. It's a clear, concise capability statement and making sure your SAM is up to date and complete. Now, I have people that tell me every day, I got everything set up in SAM. I'm ready to go. That makes me ready to go. Colette, does that make people ready to go if they're registered in SAM?
No.
How come?
They're in SAM, but if nobody knows who you are, they're not going to get to you.
That's right. They're not.
Yeah, they're ready to go, but they're not going to go anywhere.
They're not going to go anywhere. They're sitting in a parked car.
Yeah.
A parked car with no gas and no keys. They're not going anywhere. So anybody that's thinking that SAM is your entry point to the government, that is the absolute bare minimum for them to be able to write you a check. But there's a million companies in SAM. There's no reason for them to buy from you. Every once in a while, you'll find somebody that has something that somebody finds. And I agree. And we see this, like over the course of my last 11 years, there's probably 10 people that have come to me and said, they actually found me. And I'm like, that's fantastic. But that ain't normal. So if you think you're going to win, I had somebody that won a contract and got a GSA schedule in 7 days because it was so urgent that they were on that contract. And they were like, man, we got the best thing since sliced bread. They found somebody with urgency. Their butt was on fire. They forced a GSA contract, and that was the one contract they got in 5 years, and they lost their contract. Why? Because that's not how it normally works. Don't expect that. Expect going in, needing to go in fighting and taking your information to them. Clear, concise capabilities, get your SAM up to date. And if you have socioeconomic set-asides, hub zone, 8A, service disabled, woman-owned, all of those are socioeconomic set-asides. Make sure they know that you are in that category. However, I will say this, do not push that first. They're going to hire you because of your capabilities, not because of your socioeconomic status. I was just talking about this with somebody before this call who's one of our clients with A2A logistics, and they said the VA doesn't like 8As. You know why? Because the VA knows if it gets in the 8A program, it takes an act of God, not an act of Congress, an act of God to get it out. So the program managers are like, I don't want to be stovepiped into this and then have it driven down to the lowest price with somebody who cannot deliver because they don't understand their I'm not saying the 8As don't understand their world, but the experience of somebody that drives it down to the lowest price and can't deliver is something they've had over and over and over again. And they don't want it. So that's why, but it's still valuable to your contracting officer because it helps them check their boxes. And if you would like a rocking capability statement, Rafael Marrero is the man. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you see a rocking capability statement. If you see this, there's a lot of words on that. And a lot of people in the marketing world is going to say, oh, man, that's crazy how much words are on that. You're absolutely right. A lot of words on that. But it handles exactly what the buyers are looking for. Remember we talked about what their buying motives are? Make it easy. Make me comfortable that you know what you're doing. A capability statement does not get you hired. No more than a resume gets you hired. They want to talk with you, but this is what makes them want to talk with you. If you give them the good capabilities narrative, the codes, customers, contracts that you have, core capabilities and competencies, and your contact info. Every once in a while, somebody still sends me a capability statement, say, let me know what you think, Dave. I'm like, put your contact information in there so they can buy from you. That's the first thing. So there's that. And your cards, look at this. A miniature capability statement. Beautiful thing. Hand it out. They know that you're playing and they know that you belong in this world if you're giving them a card that looks like this. They're not going to go look you up in SAM to find out what your nice codes are. They're not going to do it. They're not going to look up in SAM to find out your small business or your 8A or service, whatever. Put it on your cards. Who needs a rocking capability statement? And I will get this over to Raphael. Whoa, hold on a second. Raphael, please help me get a rocking capability statement. I didn't remember that's what I put in the poll. Rocking capability, maybe a slide deck so that after you have your meeting, when you go to a meeting, you may need that. You need to get funding, need to get my certifications. I need something else, please call me. And Raphael Marrero and company will be all over this later on today and tomorrow. So you will be getting a call to schedule a time with Raphael and his team. I know right now he's drowning with PPP2. So we're going to keep cooking. You can keep answering that question. Let's talk about contracting offices, making it easy to buy from you because sometimes they like to buy off of GSA schedules, don't they, Jamie Zell?
They absolutely do. It's a streamlined way to make that purchase.
That's right. GSA schedules make it easy for them to buy from you if they like GSA. Some people don't like GSA, but that's okay. There are a lot of people that do. And you can also create a blanket purchase agreement using your GSA numbers. We've done it multiple times. And a blanket purchase agreement means they just buy it from you over and over again. It's a fantastic thing. So GSA Contract Vehicles, what in the world are they, Jamie Zell?
They are a multi-year contract that you get awarded by the federal government. They're called a GSA schedule, also known as a GSA contract, federal supply schedule. They all mean the same thing. You get your contract and think of that as your hunting license where you have been registered and approved for what you bring to the table. Not what you can or could do, but what you actually do, what you have past performance for and invoices to prove that. And you're able to then bring that solution to the federal government with approved pricing, which is part of the important part of streamlining what GSA does as a reason why to get involved with GSA and use that. From an investment standpoint as a company, you get your GSA schedule, you have your initial investment to get your GSA schedule itself. From there, it goes 5 years. Then it's renewable in 5-year increments, 3 of those. So the total time life cycle of a GSA schedule is up to and including 20 years, provided you keep selling with your GSA schedule. You got to stay active with it, and you have to sell and actually use your GSA schedule. If you leave it sit dormant, they will shut it down and cancel it. So keep it active.
Because why? What do you need every year to keep your schedule?
New GSA schedules in the first 2 years, $25,000. And then on an ongoing basis, each year, $25,000 or more in sales every year, which is actually a very low number when you consider looking at the performance mark of the average successful GSA schedule holder being $1 million plus. Exactly. Was it 3.2 or 3.8? I forget what the actual.
It used to be 3.2. It's down about 2.9, but it's close enough to 3 million that a successful GSA contract is there. But we also know here, everybody, 80% of GSA schedules fail to get 25%.
There's a question for Jamie here. Timothy says, can a newly formed JV leverage the mentor's past performance to obtain a GSA as a brand new entity?
Great question.
If you're a brand new entity, is the pathway of IT solutions. There is a springboard program. Otherwise, as a company, you have to have, if you want your own GSA schedule, you've got to be in business for 2 years with 2 years of financials and real invoices to prove that.
So even as a JV that's formed by 2 companies with a lot of past performance, the individual entities which make up the JV, that past performance doesn't count because they've become a new entity?
We can check on that.
Well, camp on performance or collective performance has never counted in the past with GSA. That's something we could look into to clarify. But just because you've teamed with a group of plumbers and they've got 10 years of experience, you can't bring that to the table and say that's what I've got for GSA unless you're actually getting that company's registered GSA schedule.
There you go. All right. So how do you make money with it? We'll talk about that in a little bit. And if there's any additional information that we find, we'll kick that out for that question. If you would like to talk to Jamie, hear his information, 100% track record in getting those GSA contracts, as always, because I don't know, when did we start doing this? 11 years ago or something crazy?
Yeah, it's been a long time, Dave. That's for sure. We've been at it a while.
It's been a while. So you can reach out to Jamie, making it easy to buy from you. Let me do this. I'm going to see if there's a poll there. If somebody wants to grab. Jamie, please help me. We'll do that real quick. Get a GSA contract. Maintain my GSA contract is something you do as well if you already have one.
Yep.
And add items to your GSA contract. Or I'd like to know if you qualify. There you go. So let them know, and we'll leave that open. And we're going to talk about the next part here. Which
you want a couple of questions while they're voting?
Sure, go ahead.
Spencer, how do you define risk-adverse concerns as it relates to FAR and agency governance? That question's over my head.
Risk-averse concerns.
COs interpret FAR and agency governance uniquely differently. How do you define their risk-adverse concerns as it relates to the above?
Oof. We're going to have to take that one offline.
Spencer wins the day.
Spencer's got the one question that requires a little bit more insight on that.
How to go back in the tumbler with that one.
Yeah, Dave.
Yes,
Dave,
sir.
if you want, just send that one to us.
It's in the Q&A, Sean.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you. We may not get back to him today, but we'll give him some kind of guidance on that question.
And I'll follow that up with a softball from Kimberly. Dave, what do you do when you keep contacting the contracting office, but you get no response?
Keep doing it. but yeah, don't worry. I'll tell a real quick story that one of the largest customers I ever had before I got into the federal government, I called 26 times before he picked up the phone. 26. And when he picked up the phone, I had to act like I hadn't been calling him 26 times. That was the hard part.
Don't leave a message.
I finally got in touch with you, Tom. I'm sorry. No, it's like, hey, Tom, it's Dave Lowe. And I can tell you that was fantastic.
And don't leave a message. So
no messages. If you leave a message, that's why you're not getting anyone. No message. Yeah. Rule number 1, no messages. I have 2 rule number 1s. 1, no messages. The other one is, if you didn't influence the RFP, somebody else did. All right, so I'm going to end this polling. There you go. Boom. Some people need a GSA contract. Jamie Zell will be in touch with you. And now we're going to talk about how to make it easy to buy from you with pre-filled standard forms and professional RFI and RFP responses. I don't know anybody that would have any experience in that, Greg Clark.
Not at all. I'm sorry. You caught me reading more comments in the chat.
Oh, I see. So now you're not paying attention to me anymore. That's okay.
It's been the case for quite some time.
There's nothing new. Nothing new.
It's a tough room, guys.
I'm telling you. So what I love about this is that even if you have relationships and you're doing your job to build those relationships and inject yourself into that scope of work early, you still need to respond to an RFP. Now, if you can't respond to your own wording in an RFP, you got a whole nother level of problems. But you still need to look professional when you're doing it. And one of the secrets there, especially for repetitive purchases, is to show them on a standard form. It's 1445 or
9.
1449. I always get that mixed up. Anyway, so tell us a little bit about what you do to help with making their proposals pop.
I'm trying to say something that I've never said, because you've heard me say my explanation over and over again. So one of the big things we do is we keep you from pursuing contracts you shouldn't be pursuing.
Good answer.
We're looking at everything that comes out for what you do and where you do it, and then we're going to evaluate them and see how the performance requirements and the proposal requirements and the evaluation criteria match up with your company's experience and capabilities. And we're trying to figure out what is in this solicitation that's going to keep you from winning this contract, and find it as soon as we can so we can get rid of it and move on to the next one. Until we get to one that we can't find a reason not to pursue it. Everything is a match. It's just right in your wheelhouse. It's perfect for you. The history, everything matches up with exactly what you do, and they say, all right, let's. This is the one we're going for, this one, and then we do everything we can to put together the best proposal that addresses everything that needs to be addressed, and it's presented and formatted the way the evaluators are expecting.
And that goes to a very specific point. You said the way the evaluators are expecting.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times they'll tell you what it is. And if you have a relationship with somebody, sometimes they'll give you some insight. It's impossible if you have a relationship not to have some inside scoop on what they're really trying to accomplish, because it's not always in the letter. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. And there's other times where, if you read between the lines and respond to between the lines, you're going to get kicked out because you weren't responding to what they asked for.
And another thing, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you're realizing you're talking more to contracting people than you are necessarily the end user. So what you sell isn't necessarily what they're buying. And what I mean from that is, your industry, the buyers don't. So you have to really explain it so that, and get across the solution to the problem in the solicitation that they're looking to resolve. And that goes a long way to getting you into the winner's circle.
It absolutely does. And I don't do either GSA schedules or proposal responses, because you will fire me because I'm not a paperwork guy. These guys, they're the paperwork guys. And I love it because they're really good at what they do. So, do you need help with a proposal? And you also help on the front end of this getting prepared, but we'll leave that for somebody else. All right, GSA schedule with current proposal, with future proposal, get my past performance in order. There you go. That's the preparation part. Is it something else? Please call May, because these guys know how to write proposals. And we'll go on to the next thing while you're doing that, because we want to be there. And here we go again. The fact is, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Shirley would talk about in making sure that you are concentrating from a high level strategically on getting into the federal government. Number one, building the right framework and making sure that you are pressing yourself out into the marketplace. And they're very good at this, the strategy component, and incorporating that into your exit strategy. So you can reach out to Shirley if you would like some more information from her. Scale2market.com is her thing. She's a great lady, very, very sharp. She's been around this industry for many, many years. I'm sorry she couldn't make it today. Excuse me. And you're welcome to reach out to her. So getting into the green, being one of the five. I did put the winnable opportunity matrix in there, right? Everybody has access to that, because it looks just like this. And we're going to walk through what this means. So if you think about when you meet somebody, right? Or let's say was there a question about reaching out to people? I don't know. But at any rate, somewhere along the line, you're going to need to know somebody that you do not know. Oftentimes we think of that person as neutral before we talk to them, because they don't know us, and they don't know us, or they don't not know us. So we think, okay, they're kind of like, instead of being a one for us or a one for the competition, we put them as neutral in our mind. Bad start. Anybody that you don't know is a red flag. This is adapted from the Miller-Hyman strategic selling approach, and you can see that you want to drive them into the green. Obviously, if they're a champion for you and carrying your flag up the hill, that's where you want to be. That's exactly where you want to be. We're going to go ahead and end this poll. I'll close that thing out. We'll be done with that. So we want to talk about how we can get contracting officers into the green, right? Everybody buy into that? And it's great if you have a champion. It's great if you have a coach. And when we develop these over time, that's great. What we want to make sure is that we start to move them into, hey, at least I'm interested in what you have to say. The way that we do this is we know early. And this is a way that we can get in early. When we talk about a specific process that we use to do this, we want to know early. We want to influence the process. Sean May, lawyer man, is it legal to influence the scope of work of an upcoming solicitation?
Is it legal? I think it's how you couch it and it's how you propose it. So I think there are definitely ways that as these opportunities come up that you can certainly put your company in the best light.
Yep. And there's times when, hypothetically, since we have a lawyer in the room.
Here we go.
Hypothetically, they may take your information and cut it and paste it into the scope of work for the requirements. Hypothetically. I'll leave that alone. You don't have to answer that because hypothetically.
Okay. I would say I would not recommend that, but okay. Worse.
It may or may have not happened in the past.
Oh, it's never happened in the past.
Never happened. And I may or may not have had that kind of, anyway.
I'm sure you never did, David.
I never did. That's right. Thank you. I forgot that you're my lawyer. Okay. So, but the sample scope of work, giving them a sample scope of work is a legitimate thing. They need to know what it looks like and why it should. They're not experts in your world. Greg, you said it.
Right.
Who's the expert? You are the expert in the world, and you want to tell them why this is really important to include this part. And it happens to favor you and your company. Shocking, right?
Exactly.
So minimize the competition. We talked about that. You want to be one of the 5, and you want to drive the turnaround. What does that mean? That means, have you ever seen a solicitation that came out, Colette, since you're the one that's here, have you ever seen a solicitation that came out that had less than 7 days to turn around on an RFP?
Yeah, when they already know who they want.
Love it. And how about if they already know they want you? That's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
Right? So the only person that can really turn around a quality RFP, besides Greg Clark and his magnanimous team that he has down in South Florida, we'll leave them off. Don't let Greg know about it or any of the competitors know, so they can't get in under the wire. But the idea is, if it's a quick turnaround, the chances are you already got the message that it's probably they already have who they have in mind, and the only people that can turn around is somebody that helped with understanding what that is. Building a relationship with contracting officers. So what do you think, folks? Here's another reason to open that chat window. What do you think some of the reasons for federal buyers to engage with you are? I'm going to give you a few in a minute. Give me some reasons why they will engage with you. So open that chat up and start joining in here. Do we have any other ones? We do have some. There's one. What about GSA subcontracting requirements? We'll have to take Rodney. We'll figure that one out. But how about we have a conversation of that offline? How do you find the contracting officer for your product? You. I love you. That's the biggest softball we got so far. I'll get to that. Market research inquiry. Love it. Market research. That's good. How to get this opportunity off their to-dos. Like that, Dan. Very good. That's a good approach. I'm not sure that that's the first conversation you're going to have with somebody, but you might. Complications with current provider. That's always nice. Difficult to know sometimes, Jason. Like that. Very good. Anybody else want to chime in on what are some reasons for federal buyers to engage with you? All right. If that's the case, you can keep coming at it. If anybody's got anything, I'm going to give you a couple. Forecasted opportunity, right? We see everybody can see these, by the way. So forecasted opportunities, everybody knows about. Don't think you're the only one, right? And a current opportunity that you find out that's not forecasted. And so not everything gets on a forecast, right, Colette?
Yep.
Very little, teeny things get on a forecast. Very, 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 very little teeny get on the small business OSDBU forecast. I was at a meeting with one of our clients who was a CPA firm for Department of Education. There was 200 people in the room for 2 contracts that added up to $1.2 million. That was a complete freaking waste of time for everybody in that room. Everybody. And everybody on the small business side, well, this is great because we got these people and they're interested. I'm like, that ain't great. That's a wheel spinning expedition, but that's a current opportunity. Sometimes if you bid, what should you do, Greg Clark? If you bid and you lose?
Get a debriefing.
Get a debriefing.
Within 3 days of being notified that you were not the successful offerer.
3 days. You got 3 days. Ask for a formal debrief if you lose. That's one way to get an engagement. A recent award win. If you have a win that looks like something else that they're working on, let them know. That's a great reason to engage. If it's a recent award to a competitor, what do I mean by that? Everybody knows who your competitors are, right? They're the people that just beat you, right? If there's a recent award, hey, I want you to and maybe you didn't know about it. Because guess what? If 98% aren't hitting FBO or beta.SAM, sorry, it's still wired in my brain. And on beta.SAM, you might not know until after an award happens. So you see that there was somebody else that you compete with that got an award that you could really do. How about reaching out to that contractor and say, hey, I know that you awarded that to ABC company. I'd love to talk with you about the potential for working with you in the future. Not for this one. That's a great award. You decided it. Congratulations. Fantastic. But man, I would sure like to be able to talk with you about this before the next one comes out. And then additionally, on top of that, or in conjunction with that, is an award history with NAICS, PSCs, or keywords that you find looking at FPDS, right? So here's what we're doing. We have a new program that we're building, and I'm telling it's built on our intelligence. It is the slickest thing that we have ever done, and that is looking at recent award wins, award to a competitor, or award history within a specific NAICS. That's a key indicator for you that they're going to be buying from you or could be buying from you, and you want to inject yourself in the conversation for the next solicitation. And it's the ISI Federal AMP program, Automated Marketing Platform. I like it because it's music oriented, and you get to be able to turn it up to 11. Turn the amp up to 11. So there you go with that. And I want to know if anybody here would like to participate. And there's only a couple of questions that are here with this. I would like to, that's not it. Ooh, that's the boot camp. We'll deal with that in a minute. I would like to be part of the beta program for the automated marketing platform. If you would, we will be reaching out to you momentarily. I would like to sign up when it goes live, which is fine because we will market to you. I am certain of that. Or I'd like to market to buyers right now because this is building up in the future, and we will help you in any aspect that you want. It's going to be we're going to look at opportunities. Absolutely, we'll be able to key things in and shoot you opportunities like beta.SAM is supposed to do for you anyway. And we'll also do it on award wins so that we can catch up with people. So with that, I'm going to let that go, and we'll get to Sally White's not here today. If you need an Uber connector, you can reach out to Sally. She does great jobs, especially with senior level folks, and you can reach out to her. If you would like to know a little bit more for Rafael Marrero, you can reach out to him. And let's see, building relationships with the stakeholders is what we're all about. So we can help you with that as well. And I will ask one more poll after we're done with this. Like right now, we're done with this. I'm going to ask one more poll about boot camps because we are creating boot camps right now to help people work this process from start to finish. But in talking about engaging with decision makers, this is a two-part question. I don't usually do this, but if you would like a self-paced video type boot camp, a live work group with a bunch of other folks, or would you like an on-site dedicated boot camp? That's the first thing. And if you would like to reach buyers, program managers, senior level decision makers, or prime contract holders. So that's what I wanted to know. And then we'll get right at it because we're just about out of time with everybody. We'll get into this. What we're going to talk about is building that framework and help you to dedicate those resources in that process. Guess what? $1.4 trillion is available. How we can get you to win. Why you answering those questions? Because you deserve to be one of the 5. We do that with GovBrief, just like we're doing right now, because we want to make you out there and get you out in front of those key decision makers, right? Peter Timbus, we're going to be talking about with financing not too distant future, getting in front of those decision makers. GovBrief, you can check it out at govbrief.us. You can see things that are on there right this minute, including Sean May's group, which you will find. It makes you the expert when you're pushing out into the federal marketplace. It gets you to be the expert because experts make the difference in whether or not they're reaching out to you. So that's that part. And we already got what you're asking from me, so we'll get you there. Any other additional questions, you can reach out. You can post those. We'll reach out and get back to you. We want to let you know that Sean Moy, he's the lawyer guy that's been talking the whole time. They're federal compliance experts. They can help you with that. And then we have the bid protests, bid and award protests coming up in March. Just go to govbrief.us and you can sign up right now. And I'm not asking that question because we'll get that. Actually, I will. I can't. We'll ask that question next time for you. We'll get here where we gotta get out in front and proactively market, and that's what we're here for. You can reach out to ISI Federal on YouTube, LinkedIn, and GovBrief. You will find us there. I will accept your invitation if you send it. If you look up ISI Federal, you cannot miss me. And if you want to reach Sally, you can reach her out there. She will be here next time. I am certain of it. And she's always involved in our Monday roundtables. If you're a customer or client, you will meet Sally for sure. Peter Timbus, contract funding, specializing in 8As. Thank you very much for being here. I know you've been talking way too much, Peter. I'm sorry you won't be able to come back. You can reach out to Peter because you specialize in contract funding and getting that stuff done. Greg Clark, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Always great to be with you. You can reach out to Greg for proposal writing, and you can reach out to Shirley for BD framework and exit strategy. That's what she does best. And you might, Mother, can I do you twice already? Man, you are absolutely double popular, Sean.
Not by my family, but hopefully by your audience.
That's right. March 24th. There's Rafael Moreros. Hold on a second. Let's see. Where did I get you? Where's Jamie? Hold on a second. I miss Jamie. Jamie Zell, give him your phone number.
Folks, if you're looking for a new scheduler, you have one and you need to do some changes to it, call me directly, 937-602-8930. That's a direct way to reach me, and I certainly would love to talk to anybody that's either has a schedule or is looking to get one or have questions about it. We've been in it a lot of years. We guarantee the results. We always get it done. And we're also not crazy expensive, which tends to happen in this business sometimes.
There's a fact of that. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me right here, dlow@isifederal.com. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you guys being here. And I cannot, Colette, thank you enough for being here. And you're welcome to join us anytime you want. And remind people what you do, Colette.
Thank you. We do low voltage cabling.
Low voltage cabling.
Yes.
There you go. And if you need anything done in the DC, the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, I do believe that is your footprint, isn't that?
Yes, it is.
There you're right. And it doesn't have to be federal. You'll run wire for anybody, right?
Yes. We'll do that.
Fantastic. And as you can tell, Colette is a great lady, and she's got a good team of folks to be able to help you out. And she's looking for sub work with prime work as well. And a lot of times that happens with your general contractor. So if you need somebody, reach out to Colette. And we do appreciate you guys joining us. I got to get down into Silver Spring for a strategy session. So I have got to blow this popsicle stand. But it's actually not a popsicle stand today, Jamie Zell. It's nice out there.
It's a full-blown show. It's filled out real nice. Great participation.
Please post your direct number for Raphael. Hold on. There's Raphael's direct number. All right. Anything else? What part of Florida? You can talk about that. Boot camp info. Okay. Yeah. We'll get your boot camp info. All the above. Do y'all have experience with M&A work and folks that currently own large federal contracts? I don't do M&A work, but I do believe that Sean May or somebody he knows does, right, Sean?
Yeah, we can certainly help. We can certainly help, Dave.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Knowing the mission of the buyer. Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us. West Palm is where you're from. Greg Clark. Awesome. Anything else you want to reach out? Feel free. We will be glad to help you any way we can. We'll see you second Tuesday, which is the 13th, which is why I didn't show you this slide because I didn't update it. It's the 13th. We will continue the conversation. Thanks for joining us. You can also go to GovBrief if you're interested in doing business with FEMA or saving your GSA contract. We have 2 different briefings that are there that you can come and join us for that. They are for charge, so don't come hit me up for free. This is the free one, folks. All right, guys, we're going to let you go. Thanks so much again for joining us. Appreciate you guys. As always,